Akoites, the traveling priest, lies bound before the tyrant king. His crime, the worshipping of Dionysus, god of wine and madness, disobedient women, the growth of plants, and slave revolts. For this reason, his worship is forbidden in many places. The king says to him, "I will kill you for your crimes, but before I do, tell me, who are you, and why do you persist in this mad cult?" Akoites the sailor, upon the wine dark sea I sail. My comrades rough and hardened men, who line their pockets now and then when strength and wind prevails. We put in at an island, a lonely spot and overgrown. A beautiful youth was waiting there, straight and slender, twice as fair as any I had known. "Can you give me passage to Naxos?" Quickly they seized him and carried him back to the ship, loosened the oars, and rowed out of the cove at a clip. I knew it by his beauty, so soft, alone, and richly dressed, his deep and dark and sleepy eyes. Some god was wandering in disguise, and we had failed his test. I pleaded with the sailors, "Virtue is our only hope. This dark-eyed boy is something more. Row quick, return him to the shore." They laughed and grabbed the rope. The sailors were gloating and glad as they grabbed for their prize, but I saw the madness and malice that shone in his eyes. "Please, sirs, I beg you, just bring me to Naxos." The ropes refused to bind him, and ivy grew to wrap the sails, and panthers stalked amongst the vine. The men had wronged the god of wine. They wept and leapt the rails, and Bacchus himself stood with grape leaves entwining his spear, and I saw it all where I hid, and I trembled in fear. One by one he changed them. Flippers grew where none should be. Their spines were bent, their hands were lost. Their tails curved, the dolphins tossed themselves into the sea. And Bacchus turned to me. "I see you hiding. Now sail on to Naxos." I sailed on to Naxos, though Bacchus had vanished away, and I have been wandering the world as his priest to this day. "Enough!" cried the king. "Enough lies! Take this man down into the dungeon and wrap him with chains and prepare his death." And they took Akoites down into the deepest dungeon and wrapped him tight with heavy chains, and went to prepare the fire and knives and instruments of his death. Akoites smiled. He stood and the chains fell.